Up next, it's time to check in on weather with Nebraska Extension's Eric Hunt. Eric, over the past week, we saw some impressive amounts of rain be dropped across portions of Nebraska. As we turn to the next 7 days, how are things looking?
Well, thanks, Bryce. It looks like a little bit more of the same story that we had this past week. For starters, though, for those of you that love doing surveys and would be interested in participating in something about solar energy, the Center for Rural Affairs would love to hear from you. So you can scan this QR code here and help answer their survey. Weather-wise, to start the week, Sunday, we're going to look at warm temperatures across most of the state. We'll see a little bit cooler temperatures across portions of western Nebraska. Will be on the other side of a front. We are looking at relatively breezy conditions, though, across the entire state, mostly from the west across western Nebraska, southerly winds across the central and eastern portions of the state. I do think we're going to have a little bit of a chance of having some elevated fire danger across portions of west central, maybe even portions of northern Nebraska where we haven't had as much precipitation of late. By coming in Tuesday, this trough is going to be a very prominent feature out here in the western portion of the country. It will be kind of more or less sitting here for most of the week, but we will see some short waves come into the plains region as we head to the early portion of the week. So I think we're going to have a couple of periods of showers and thunderstorms, at least chances for showers and thunderstorms across the state in the upcoming week. I think the first round likely will come in mostly affecting southern and eastern sections of the state later Tuesday into Wednesday, then perhaps a better chance of showers and thunderstorms across the northern portion of the state as we head into Thursday, maybe into early Friday. And again, for some places northeastern Nebraska, rainfall would be relatively welcome. We've been pretty dry up in that area for the last 30 to 45 days. WPC does not really show much for precipitation across the state or across this broader region. It's possible this is accurate. It's also possible this is quite underdone. Now, I don't think we're looking at tremendous amounts of precipitation, but I do think there's going to be a chance of tapping into some of the specific moisture. So right now, I think there's a possibility for at least a good portion of the state to at least get a quarter. Some places may pick up a half inch, an inch more of rain. So again, this may verify, but again, this also could be pretty wrong. The WPC's precipitation outlook has not been particularly good here the last several months. Temperatures this week, now again, I think it'll be a little bit cooler Tuesday if we have some clouds and showers across the state. So that may be one day this week where our high temperatures are at or a little bit below seasonal normals. For most of the week, though, we're going to be at or above seasonal norms, particularly across the southern and eastern portion of the state, and probably going to be finishing out the week relatively warm as well. Looks like probably should be in the 70s to finish out the week. CPC shows warm being favored here across the entire central portion of the country in the 8 to 14-day outlook. And I feel pretty confident in the first half that's going to be pretty warm, but there's a chance we may get a pretty strong cold front moving in here about 19th to 20th of October. If that happens, it certainly would open up some chances for showers and thunderstorms across the entire region. It also may bring our first blast of truly cool air into this portion of the country for this time of year. Not talking record cold temperatures, but certainly maybe sweatshirt weather, and we actually may see widespread sub-freezing temperatures across a good portion of the state should this actually come to fruition. CPC shows above average being favored for most of the periods. So again, I do think there's going to be a reasonably good chance we pick up some additional showers and thunderstorms across the entire state and region as we head to about the 19th to 20th of October. Recent precipitation has been pretty good here for most of the state, the exception being here across portions of northeastern Nebraska, across portions of the Panhandle, where we have been a little bit deficient. But for the most part, though, this has been the best we've been in the fall in a long time across Nebraska. Drought monitoring did see some abnormal dryness introduced here into portions of northeastern Nebraska the last couple of weeks. And we've seen a widespread expansion of drought across a good portion of the eastern half of the country. Swell temperatures across the state mostly in the 50s and 60s. And this is the weekly temperature and precip roundup for the week ending October 4th, 2025. Back to you, Bryce.